behind Adam. I need to look over my notes.
Who wants to say what happened last time for the next 45 minutes?
No.
Jack is volunteering.
I can skim.
Have my stuff.
I could give it a shot if you want to break.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can do like my 5 lines worth.
We snuck out of the city, and then we got to the entrance of the mountains and found our boat there, and then we fixed it. All right, let's go.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Okay.
With a caveat that you didn't fix the boat, you just unstuck it.
We unstuck it.
You
That
you
needs
to be
unstuck the
fixed.
boat.
It's pretty beat up.
Yeah,
But we have someone who can mend things slowly, so that
Mm-hmm.
that's true. And you do all have inspiration.
oh, that's
No.
right. Because
Oh, nice.
we did
You all
things
got
the
it.
hard way, but it was still fun.
It's great.
Inspiration?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I said that everybody got inspiration for that, just so that I could prove that I'm just as good as Adam's other DM.
I don't remember
I
that. No.
I also heard that he gives people $1 million.
Mm.
You know what? When I have a job
No,
No,
and
no.
an extra
The
$1 million,
The party
No,
has
no.
$1 million, but it's no one accepts the currency.
I was gonna say we could have $1 million in game, but we would never use
Mhm.
it for it.
We have
We could-
monopoly money.
I could use it as ammo.
Fire.
Felix is just
one
like
thing-
mass catapulting gold coins at people.
Yep.
So one thing I will say is, as we were traveling, we ended up using the mirror and the compass for a couple of reasons. I think we're just gonna refresh on those.
Yep.
The first thing is the ship has been stripped of valuables. The alchemite councils, all the alchemite, some of the armor from the ship sledge is gone. Ishmael asks if Felix can use his suit to power the ship, but he could, but it would only be for like 9 seconds. So we want to think of alchemite to power the ship. And the question was, where is the closest piece or pieces of alchemite we can use once powered to power the ship equal to or better than the previous piece, not in touchstone, accessible to us with the least amount of effort using the abilities we have available?
That's
And
right.
we got some.
Easy.
The legalese.
The compass like overheats.
The compass just turns into a middle finger. Like, what's up? So then, yeah, we got Felix mines for some. We went to the mountains. We went left. So Felix uses the mirror to think of Aetherwolf. He's sitting there listening to people with a very serious expression on his face. He thinks of Sledge. Sledge is kind of in a pile, powered off somewhere. He thinks of Lodvar. Lodvar is a dead body. It thinks of the Magister. Magister is bound in chains in the throne room. Danny is bound, not in the throne room, but he's in a room somewhere else. Kaz is dead in the middle of Touchstone, with a hole in his head. Tizol's water skin is still lying in the temple. Those are the things we looked up with the mirror.
And we
Yeah, I
also
expect
saw
this session will be going back and getting that water skin.
Mhm.
Dorn rifling through the Magister's stuff,
Mhm.
but they didn't seem like the Dorn that were part of the convoy into the town. At least we didn't think. They seemed like common.
Maybe.
They didn't have the power armor.
Right.
Yeah.
Council thinks they might be there for the compass.
Right. Oh, and Barquan found a polished rock, which is important.
It's true. Felix charges the alchemite we got with... Council uses his ability to mold all of the pieces of alchemite into one perfect cube. And it fits in. And then Felix uses lightning bolt on it, charges. Barquan chills in a puddle. Yeah. We all dislodge the ship. We managed to move a couple feet. Barquan climbs, blah, blah, we free the boat. And that's where the session ends.
And we also found out, it was confirmed, that Enlarge Reduce works on objects and not only
Yes.
people. You know how we
Further
could
looking into that, it is a single object. So if you're casting it on a ship, you will shrink like a size of like a part of the ship.
Sure.
Oh, so if you talk like
One of the panels or
boards
something,
of the ship,
yeah.
the board would shrink.
Or
Yeah.
a huge piece of red alchemite that's going to explode.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Could you imagine that? Large reduce an alchemite and then
Why?
throw it?
Is the stream gone?
It is.
Okay, I couldn't remember. Just
Yeah,
want to
it is.
remind.
Yeah, it started.
All right.
That's a pretty good summary. Anything else?
I glossed over the first 3 pages of my notes, but yeah, that's about it.
That feels like the high points.
Yeah,
We
there was-
ended in the at the entrance of the caverns and need to make some decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So session 50 is titled Hubris.
God, Jesus.
Ooh.
It is solidly evening time. I made sure to make note of in my notes just because I wasn't sure what time it was when you guys were doing everything in the caves and like when you went down and got it and when you came back out and were doing that. So I went back and like watched the last session and made note that it is solidly evening. So we're talking like 7, 8 o'clock at night when you guys get the ship unstuck.
Sorry, I just looked at my notes and in equipment I added polished rock in case any of you cared.
Excellent.
Good with this.
Uh,
And you are, next to the boat outside of the cavern. What would you like to do?
Let's ensure that the ship moves before we make any decisions.
Sorry, just want to quick confirm as a player. The ship, as far as we can tell, was drug here, right? There's that
Yes.
hole that okay.
Yep, it was dragged behind one of the mining machines.
Yeah, the tunneler thing.
Actually, 2 of the mining machines.
While we prepare the ship, or just like get ready to test it, Council, in last session, I took a piece of regular alchemite from the mining because we've got so much, right? I think we're all kind of stocked up right now. He's gonna find a piece that's as round as possible and put it in the socket of his skull, his eye socket.
Okay.
Because that's been
Metal.
something he's wanted to do since he lost his eye as an experiment. So now that
Okay.
he has a round piece of alchemite, he's just gonna go plop with it.
Okay.
And he's gonna put his mask back on.
All right. He does.
Yeah, and with some of the raw alchemite that we have, Felix took like basically a brick, a cinder block's worth,
Yeah.
and like shoved it in his bag. And some of it he's like chipped off and put it back in the compartment in his armor.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Ishmael, would you mind trying to move the ship, please? With the wheel.
Okay. He's trying to think of how to answer that. This is gonna. I didn't want to be
Barbarian
insulting.
starts to think really hard.
It's like, how do I tell him that he's a moron without
That
saying it?
is why you failed.
So stealthily, Ishmael will. He gives a nod to Council and stealthily attempts to make his way to the wheel and see if he can get the ship moving.
Okay, sure. Make me a stealth check.
Oh my gosh!
Try not to
I
embed
didn't pull my dice out. They're right here. I forgot to.
Well, he's doing that. Can I ask a question? How loud was the ship coming unstuck?
So the ship coming unstuck was decently loud. You have metal on stone being forcefully ejected. But even louder than that was the sound of Ishmael raging and screaming as he was pushing the boat out. So it was decently loud.
Okay.
I forgot all about that.
I was trying to figure
Okay.
out why you were being stealth, because he could go ahead and be stealthy.
Yeah, you can be stealthy, man.
I'm sorry. I really forgot he was just screaming. There's no point to be stealthy.
Okay.
I mean, I'll roll if you want me to since I said it, but that would just be silly. He's not.
Nah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry. In character, I think it's hysterical that he screams and then tries to tiptoe after.
I'm picturing Yosemite Sam. Rack and frickin' snazzle.
Dainty little
Yes.
footsteps.
So I just normally walk up to the wheel and attempt to move to, control the ship to have it go towards the entrance of the caverns.
Is it? Oh wait, towards the entrance of the caverns?
Well, because we're
Right.
just inside, right? Well, out and away from.
So you want to move.
Away.
The ship is outside of the cavern now.
Oh, I
The
thought it
mouth
was.
of the- No,
It was never
jammed
fully
in the
in.
mouth of the
Yeah.
cave.
Okay.
You have now
Okay.
pushed
Yeah.
it just
So
slightly.
further away.
Yeah.
Okay.
Further away.
Okay, so you're trying to like reverse out.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, in going and getting up to the ship and then pulling back on the wheel. The first thing that you notice is that while the ship does kind of lurch backwards a little bit, it does it almost like a car that you haven't put in gear when you're like trying to learn to drive a stick shift, and it's like jerking back a little bit. And as it's doing that, you see that the sails attached to the front and the mid of the ship are in dire need of repair. And it looks like it's not going anywhere without some time being spent on those.
Yeah.
Has it gone? So thinking of how the ship works, is it at the point, like if I compare it to like a hovercraft, where it's in its like light, easily movable mode, where it's supposed to be down in the sand, is it kind of hovering at the surface of the sand?
It's still like in the basically while you were pulling back on it, it was like lurching backwards in the sand. It wasn't even like lifting off of the ground.
Okay. Shoot.
Felix.
Um,
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Ishmael just says, I don't know if it's going anywhere. The sails seem to be impeding our progress.
Can the sails be? Does it look like I need to get more material to fix it, or just need to spend time like mending things together? I mean, not mending with the spell, but actually like
Like
hands
sewing
and
them back
tools.
up. Yeah.
So the chains themselves, those you could probably just mend like with the material that's there. Like no links of the chain broke off; they just simply snapped. So if you had a significantly high like tinkering check, you'd be able to like put those back together and kind of, because if you remember correctly, they were already being like makeshift held together from the last time you repaired it.
Mm-hmm.
You never like solidified that.
Can they
Whereas
can
go
they
ahead.
magically be mended?
Not using like the mending spell. No,
Okay.
that's not what that's for. You'd have to like do some actual work on it. The sails themselves has some like bigger tears in them, so that's more again just like a cost of time, really, of just someone actually spending the time to mend them in some way, whether that be sewing them together, trying to find some other way to stick them together.
There's no bodies nearby, are there?
Fit like human bodies or dwarven bodies or
Yeah,
mechanical?
either.
Go ahead and make me a perception check.
Okay. Ooh, that's pretty good. That's going to be 20... Where's my perception? 24.
24. Looking around, you do not see any bodies.
Oh, 23, actually, but yeah. Okay.
Well, in that case, you do see one body, but it was make believe.
Shoot. Okay. Well, that's probably good. That was maybe going to get real dark there.
Intestines is for sewing the sails back together.
Skin for adding to
Oh,
the
skin.
sails.
Okay. Great minds.
The vegan and the vegetarian. How can we use human bodies to make sails?
They could be dwarven. We could go back to the city and kill some Nam. That's easy enough.
They're not people.
I like the cut of your jib.
Exactly. You're kind of welcome around here.
Do we have the ability to fix these sails in a very quick manner? Do any of you have proficiency or skills to fix them?
I could fix it. I don't know about how quickly I could do it.
Can you give us an educated guess?
How long do you think it would take me? Or how long do I think it would take me, Spencer?
I mean, we could help too. Like, if we had the materials, like council, and people could sew the sail.
Ishmael
Maybe-
can't help.
Make me an intelligence check.
Okay. 23.
23. You think, I mean, if you were doing it yourself, and no one else was in your way, and you had all the materials available, probably 3-4 hours.
Oh, I was thinking days. Okay, that's much better.
No, yeah,
There's a caveat there.
closer to hours.
Do we have the materials, Felix, for you to fix this?
So you said it needed like some chains meant. So I'm assuming we're just missing some of the chain links at this point.
In the rip
Right.
sails.
He said the chains could be fixed with what's available because they're just
Yeah.
There's-
snapped. They're not.
Oh, okay.
Missing.
Yeah.
Significant rips in the
So
sails.
do I
though.
have everything I need to fix it?
What do you have in your adventurers pack as far as like how you could fix the sails?
Council has 50 feet of
Hempen rope.
silk rope.
Oh,
From the different pack I got. I think
Yeah, I
it's
don't.
a silk rope. But
I have smith's tools, which I'm not sure what all that I think that might just be metalworking stuff.
Right.
I have wood carver's tools, but I can. There's probably like a leatherworker's tool set.
Yeah, like a tailor or something like that.
Yeah, and Artificer has a class feature called. Where is it?
well, Felix thinks Ishmael mentions that he has a bunch of hempen rope, 50 feet, if that would be helpful.
All right, you've learned to produce exactly the tool you need with thieves' tools or artisan's tools in hand. I have thieves' tools. You can magically create one set of artisan's tools in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you. This creation requires 1 hour of uninterrupted work, which can coincide with a short or long rest. Though the product of magic, the tools are not magical, and they vanish when you use this feature again. So, I could have just had another set the whole time. I haven't used it yet.
Okay. I think that so you'd be spending the time to craft or make whatever your like artisan's tools. But then using the rope, if you were to like break that down into some smaller cords,
Yeah,
you could almost like sew it back together.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, I think that you could accomplish that. Again, that's probably another 3 or 4 hours on top of it. Just
So
because
like,
that's a
basically
bit more meticulous.
Basically a whole day worth of
Yeah.
work, pretty much.
Could we take down the entrance to the cave while you worked?
Wait, what?
Collapse the entrance to the caverns. We have
Yeah.
alchemite. We could possibly pull the ship slightly further out of the way and
We wouldn't need to. We could. The
That's
tunnel is miles long. We could pick anywhere from here.
that's not a terrible idea, except I would say it wouldn't work because our enemies have those excavator machines.
I agree, but if we need time, perhaps it could buy
Here's-
us some amount of time.
Do we
I think-
need time,
Well,
or do we
yeah.
need the threat eliminated?
We don't know
So
if
I-
we're being pursued right now.
Genocide is not a forte of mine, new friend.
In what way did you think I meant genocide?
Because the threat within there is where all the Dwarven live, is it not?
Not all
He
the
points to
Dwarven are.
Felix.
So if I think he has a point, not genocide, but we might need to go to Touchstone. You speak of genocide as if we're going to kill all the Dwarven in there. The Dwarven in there are mostly enslaved by the Breakers at this point. I'm assuming they have subjugated the population.
That would align with their normal behavior from what we
Aethelwolf is sitting on the throne as we speak. And not only that, the Magister is in there as well.
and Sledge
And
and
if-
Danny.
Yes. And if we get the other key, we need a way to attune it to us. Which until the whole time we've used the Magister to reset the attunement of the item. So if we get the Staff of Tersing, whatever it's called, we would need to figure out a different way. Because I'm assuming if we leave the Magister there for much longer, he's good as dead.
They are most likely keeping him alive with the reason that the Dwarven are searching his tower. Whether that's for the compass or something else we have, they think he has use. But you are right. Once that runs out.
And what's worse, I mean, him dying would be terrible, but if they kept him alive and also got all the information out of his head that's in there about our mission, that would be almost as devastating.
I believe it's settled. I don't see a way to not go to Touchstone.
We don't know the time limit we have. If we rush and lose some key elements of our plan, and also let them get even stronger, the mistake we made was not dealing with them sooner. And they killed Kaz as soon as they could. They got what they needed out of him. So as soon as they get what they need out of the Magister, he's as good as dead too.
I'm sorry about your friend. So what's the plan if we go to Touchstone?
Ishmael, you have been very vocal about our direction. How do you feel? Sorry, Wander, I did not mean to.
I'm very torn. Unlike you, Wander, but
Hey.
didn't. The arguments you have presented, Felix and Council, make a lot of sense.
I haven't said anything.
Not Council. Gosh, what is your new character's name? Luca. Why did I
Farquaad.
call you Council? Yeah, there we go.
Farquaad.
I still feel inside of me that we need to make haste to attempt to save everyone on a much larger scale. But perhaps if we don't handle this smaller yet still large matter within Touchstone, we won't be able to accomplish that.
Without the ship, we won't make much haste.
It would take us weeks and weeks to travel to any of the places we wish to go.
What is the hewn, the pillars?
The pillars.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are in jeopardy. Their leader is going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
We know what has happened to Orin. Supposedly the Eln are in trouble too. And now Touchstone is led by the Breakers. If we save the world, whose world is it when we're done?
Noon's influence is growing. That will not change. Unless we save Nain. As none requested.
I have no further argument against going to Touchstone.
I had a whole speech prepared, but I guess I don't have to say it now.
Now,
I don't feel it in my heart, but I trust you as my companions and friends.
it pains me to say overthrowing governments is not my specialty. I can provide tools. I'm not exactly sure. Set me in front of Aetherwolf alone, and I'll take care of the job.
We may not have to overthrow a government. From personal studies, Aetherwolf's reign is short, which means the population is still highly resistant. They are probably still planning. Their spirits are most likely not broken entirely. It also means that from what you've explained of the breakers, his grip is tight. And if he falls, most things aligned with him fall as well. That is generally the way of dictators. So it's as you said, our goal will simply be to try and deal with Aetherwolf. However, from what we saw in the temple, from the tricks and the mechanisms they have at their disposal, that's not going to be easy. Which means we are going to need someone who knows Touchstone very well to potentially help us get support and to lead us into the throne room, circumventing a lot of the security of the breakers. And we did have an escort for much of our journey through Touchstone that may still be alive and imprisoned.
Wander. Perhaps you could go find him if we get close. Turn into some little critter.
Hmm. I should be able to do that.
The last time you traveled to Touchstone, who was it that brought you? I didn't realize you had others traveling with you.
We made it to Touchstone on our own. I grew up there, so. And there's a giant road. I gesture to the cave. That leads right to it.
Oh my gosh, I wish I kept all my notes on one document so I could
He just mentioned that you had help finding your way to Touchstone.
Not to Touchstone.
When we got to the Touchstone, we had an escort of one of the guards.
Yeah.
I see.
I feel like I could.
Tram. The guard we met at the entrance to Touchstone was Tram, and he was with us from beginning to end. And
Were you able to walk around freely?
No.
With him?
With him, yes.
With him. So not within the shadows. You could be seen.
Yes, but one of the guard of the Dawn City, which are very well trained from what I understood, and very knowledgeable, they probably want to get their city back in order and free of the breakers. If we can find him or one of them, they may be able to lead us away into the throne room without having to fight all of the guards.
My usual ways of infiltrating places, I'm afraid, might not work. Invisibility and
not with those helmets.
Changing disguises. With the technology they've copied from me, most of my tricks are rendered useless. But I might be able to do a few more things.
I wonder if all of the bridges are still intact.
Bridges? Within the caverns?
Touchstone is built around a very large central rock pillar in a cavern that is unfathomably large. And leading to the center pillar is a series of bridges. The Dawn mentioned that several times when they've defended Touchstone that they've collapsed these bridges in emergencies. I'm wondering if all of them are still intact.
Wasn't there only one left when we departed? The one to the other side?
I think there were two.
They collapsed one, I'm pretty sure.
Council's perfect elm memory. How many bridges were left?
There were two, because there's the one that goes up to the left. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not.
Yeah, we can.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
goes up to the left and out to the High Barrens, where you
Mhm.
guys had exited previously. And there was one that came in from the northeast that was still connected. The other three that previously existed had all been collapsed.
And we went in through some elevator thing, right?
Correct. Yeah, you could still access Touchstone by going down to the base of the pillar and then up from the inside, which is how you reached it in the first place.
We may need to repeat that. The bridges are going to be monitored closely. There'll be no way to cross it.
The more I learn of this touchstone, the more daunting this journey, excuse me, this journey ahead of us seems. Are we certain we can accomplish this?
I will have one caveat that everyone should be aware of before we do this or make our decision. If all of us die, the world ends. Because Nan has mentioned when we left that she is almost out of power. She's using her last vestiges of strength to keep Nain intact. No more visions, no more communication from afar, no more new direction. So as long as at least one of us lives, we can continue the quest. But if we all die, then that's it. That is the risk. I'm not saying we should not go to Touchstone, but it's something we have to be aware of as we plan these things.
Are we certain there's no other champions of the gods such as ourselves? We can't be the only ones.
I think
Can
we've
we?
heard about it by now.
I
least-
would imagine with the. I mean, yeah, if Nain. I don't know if Nain would have told us if there was anyone else.
Nan, sorry.
Yeah,
Nin,
sorry,
Nin,
not.
The water one.
Um,
We aren't sure what Nin is up to, right?
That is true. He is currently creating that storm cloud blocking Noon's gaze of the world.
Nin, Nan, Noon.
Ah. Bakwan.
Are you an owl? Just kidding. That wasn't funny.
Uh,
That was really bad. I regret that joke.
You lose your inspiration.
Yeah, that's totally fair. 100%
You have
fair.
the opposite of inspiration. You now have you roll with disadvantage at least once tonight.
To summarize, Bakwan, the sun is Noon, an entity that is full of hatred and envy and evil. It is seeking to poison and destroy the world and reclaim all of the life that it believes is rightfully its. The gods are the wardens of three immensely powerful titans that took this power. They were born from Noon, and he is angry about it. Nan is the titan of the water. Nain is the titan of the world, and Nin is the titan of the air. Nain is currently dying. Nan is using all of her strength to keep Nain intact. That is our current quest, is to save Nain. Otherwise, Noon wins.
Gosh, I think you just made Spencer's night.
Got it. So great. Man, it's all of the theology of the
mhm.
universe I've created, just boxed up in this nice little review. It's great. I love it.
Naruya,
That is certainly a lot to take in.
I apologize if that is blunt. If it helps your motivation and your devotion to Naruya. She was one of the ones that we saw in the pod, right? I think
In
she's
a
Pod?
pod?
the thing, the
Chamber.
was captured the chamber.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we believe Naruya, including some of the other gods, were betrayed and are currently being captured. They have been captured. So if this motivates you farther, our quest may very well lead directly to saving them.
Naruya is captured.
We have seen as much, yes.
He immediately starts praying.
Every time we gain a new artifact of the gods, the compass, the mirror, the pistol, we get a vision of their existence, of the last wielder. And through these visions, we have seen many things, including Naruya's capture. But the problem is, we are the only ones, as far as we know, that know this. So if we all perish, that information falls with us, and the world meanders until noon wins.
I
And-
think we told everything to the Magister, too.
The Magister is going to be dead very soon.
Just saying, technically.
Technically. And unless he's babbling to everyone in the throne room.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Aetherwolf cooks up an idea, something to force information out of someone.
He may be motivated due to what he found in the archives.
So if we're confident that Aetherwolf will force the information from the Magister, even if we were to leave now and make our way towards Touchstone, he's bound to have gotten the information from him.
We don't know that, but it is a possibility.
I don't think he has that capability yet.
We have something on our side with the issue with Touchstone is that the breakers are not thousands in number. From what we know, there are potentially hundreds, right, Felix?
Is that right?
Yes. So when you were involved with the Breakers, it was dozens. But you know from conversations with Kaz that it had grown to hundreds.
The Touchstone has a population of tens of thousands. Controlling a populace against their will with fewer than 1,000 people is
And I think
staggering.
they may have only gotten weaker as their ambitions has grown.
Aetherwolf does not come across as a level-headed entity.
They had to retreat out of Odin.
Exactly. They had a lot to take Touchstone, which they did, but they also tried to take Orin, and the Non hold Orin now.
Not to mention, if we free the Dwarven of Touchstone and help them quickly stabilize over the course of a day, we may have the support of a military force to help us retake Orin. I think the benefits of going to Touchstone are too great. And the risks of us leaving them are also too great.
My fear is we amass the keys and we show up to the heart of the world, it is,
In Orin, yes.
and they are laying in wait because they have the information and ambush us and take the keys. This seems like a conflict that will have to be addressed.
It is.
Do we want to do it in their home or not, is the question.
They did just suffer a defeat at Orin.
As far as we know, they may have left because they collected something they wanted. But they may have been pushed back.
The fact they were still in the tower searching seems to me that they did not get what they came for. So I do believe they retreated, and I believe this would be the best time to attack.
They did go pretty overboard with trying to bust a hole in the temple, and that didn't work. Not sure who could have foreseen the durability of that structure.
Well,
That was remarkable.
If they remained faithful to their god, then they wouldn't have had that issue.
So,
I think our question is more along the lines of how do we get into Touchstone rather than if we are going to Touchstone.
I think so there's two things to consider, I think. I mean, we could have someone go in, Wanda, I think, is suited for the job to do some reconnaissance. I don't think they'd be able to detect him shape-shifted into something else, small and not noticeable.
Agreed. He may be able to see a way for us to
And
get down
yeah,
to the bottom and ascend the pillar.
we could get some answers there, or he could talk to some of the people there. He maybe can find Tram and see if the unit of gods is still intact. Also, I'm not sure what good it would do us, but the old camps of the breakers, I imagine they're far less defended, if at all. I imagine they probably all moved into Touchstone now that they have possession of it. We might be able to find answers there, but there's no guarantee in that.
Ishmael, you want to say something?
If we were to commandeer one of these drilling machines, Felix, would you be able to pilot it?
I could figure it out. Easy.
I figured as much. Perhaps that's a path for us forward. We have tracks. We could follow them. We don't know how far they've gotten. Maybe they've made it to Touchstone. Maybe they're just a bit up the trail. But if we could get one of those drilling machines, that could turn the tables.
Agreed. Even if it is already in Touchstone, that may be an objective once we get inside. That's a good point, Ishmael. One thing I'd like to mention on Felix's point of the Breaker camp, knowing how meticulous they were, not leaving anything behind in their encampment outside Orin, I would be very surprised if there was something useful there. I think Felix's idea of Wander doing some initial scouting is our best plan, because it doesn't involve invisibility, which we know doesn't work. However, that does put the onus of danger on one person.
Is it not hours worth of travel as well?
It's potentially a day.
Days?
Was it like 2 days to get there?
No, it's hours.
Hours, okay.
I mean, I think that it is the better part of a day.
Yeah, okay.
Because if I recall correctly, this trip is about an hour.
Okay.
So you got like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 just to get to like the ledge before the descent and up. So yeah, by the time to get down and back up into actual Touchstone is probably 12 hours.
And it's nighttime right now?
Yeah, at this point it's like 8 o'clock at night.
Can the ship move a little bit?
Yeah. So from what what Ishmael was doing, it did move it back a bit.
We at least move it kind of mostly out of the way and throw some tree branches over it.
I mean, at saying that, Ishmael just continues. He tries to move it, the several more feet just out of the way of the entrance at that.
Yeah. Yeah, we can say that you've moved it off to the side. That's fine.
Okay.
I pull out the mirror and think of Tram.
Think of Tram?
Yep.
Okay. You see Tram standing at the same post that you saw him at before. And he is standing next to another individual in powered armor.
Does Felix
Ram-
share this?
Yeah. Tram is at the entrance at his post before, except he is accompanied by a breaker.
I'm fairly certain that he's only there because the breaker is keeping him in check. If we can deal with that breaker quickly, we may get some leverage.
Still using the city guard does tell us that maybe they are spread a little thin.
Agreed.
So you have full confidence in this Tram?
Knowing the Dawn and their affiliation with law and order, the Breakers are anything but that. I think their presence is a pox on their society.
Then I too put my trust in him.
I think most Dwarn, once you talk to them for a little bit, you kind of know where they sit.
And it's not like we ended on bad terms. The only the only issue I think we may encounter is that Felix was technically banished from Touchstone. And if Tram is obsessed with the law, Felix will not be allowed in, regardless of the circumstances. However,
But wasn't Felix with you last time?
he was. And he was promptly banished from Touchstone.
One small concern. The law. Is it possible Aetherwolf has enacted a new one?
That
What do you mean?
is a bigger question of whether the Dawn Society acknowledges king by might rather than by the normal means.
The
If he
king is dead, yes?
If he is technically the king, he can make new laws.
Is that right? Like, how would Felix weigh in on this?
So Felix knows that the reigns of the kings are 100 years. That was one of the laws that was established earlier on. If a king was to die early for some reason, a new king would be appointed, and then that king would be the new king.
But how would how would the king be appointed?
There was a whole series of laws that are about how to appoint a new king.
So it's a process.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if Aetherwolf,
He skipped the process.
he
Corporate
maybe isn't
FUBU.
legitimate.
Yeah.
Is that a pretty good guess that he kind of, if he is king, he probably kind of muscled his way in around the rules.
Yeah. So from your, I won't even make you roll a history check. I just say from your knowledge, there has not been a king that has taken the throne by force.
I think if he has become king, he's done so illegitimately, which means any laws he enacts are only valid as long as he can enforce them.
Spencer,
Okay.
thinking of the northeast cavern, the entrance to Touchstone, there's that jagged road, the northeast one.
This one?
That's the one with one of the bridges that broke, right?
Correct. Yeah, that was connected by bridge. That bridge was blown out when the breakers were attacking Touchstone.
Okay. So we can try and ambush the breaker near Tram and then figure out what to do from there. If we do need a secretive way to enter, we may be able to use that northeast bridgeless entrance that Wander can use to get in and find someone to speak to. I don't know how we would get down there from there, but perhaps we have some magic available. He kind of looks at the fiddly finger people. Float, levitate, fly.
Featherfall.
I would need to sleep to change my abilities.
Oh, it's night now, and we've had a busy day, and Touchstone is
I
day
could help
away.
too with that.
I personally feel like being quick and aggressive is going to be what they least expect. We can do this calculatedly, but we can do it with a reasonable amount of push. And going toward Tram is my vote.
And if we overthrow Aetherwolf, who do we put in his place?
That's up to the Dawn.
There are plenty. There's a whole nobility. A lot of people were involved in politics. Imagine there's someone.
We may be able to convince them to relax a little.
Or we put Felix in the throne, even as a temporary lead.
Ain't gonna happen. You're out of your mind.
They may be blaming Felix for all of this. Yeah, because He's
I
the one who
had-
invented the suits.
Is the one giant the king amongst the tiny folk? Ishmael chuckles to himself a bit at that.
You obviously haven't met many Dwarn.
I have
They're-
not.
They're small in stature, but their personalities are not. I don't know if he's still alive. Do have a brother that's pretty estranged at this point I'm probably the estranged one.
Felix, can you think of the next child, the Dawn child born after Lodvar died?
What?
With the mirror.
Oh.
The heir.
No, just in general.
How am I
Just
supposed to
ponder
know
this.
What the heck?
Meditate on this for me, all right? Ponder
I
children.
suppose we'll see if it works like that. I think of that and look at the mirror. Like the
Okay. Looking into the mirror, you see a days old baby being held in the arms of its mother.
it does work with not very specific people.
It was specific.
Curious. Well, we didn't have a name and an individual in mind.
True, but there was only one option.
It's true.
I only ask because remembering the law, the next
Mhm.
child born after the reign of the king ends is going to be king. And if they're not dead, then that process has a chance of being salvaged.
Is that really how it worked?
That's what the law said.
King
It-
the Second.
It leaves some questions about who would fill the office of king during the child's infancy. I'm trying to recall at what age they ascended to the throne, or are there children on the throne?
This is interesting but unimportant to our current conundrum.
There's
That's
a whole
true.
the Dwarven society is still intact, and they'll figure it out when we
Our
knock the
first
head
step,
off of the breakers.
our first step is going to be. Wait. Do we push on or do we rest?
With
I know you have spells to prepare.
we might
I-
need to act quickly if anything happens on Wander's foray.
I'm not going on my scouting mission until after I rest, unfortunately.
So we have to rest regardless.
That answers that.
Should we move a short ways into the caverns and rest together, keep watch, as opposed to out in the open?
We should. Yes, we should
Yes.
find. We shouldn't rest in the main cavern itself and find one of the offshoots.
Could
Rest
travel
there.
a couple.
Just
Couple
one
hours.
An hour from here, yeah. Where we mined the alchemite.
Remember to keep the noise down while we're in there. Many of you remember the creatures, the Umber Hulks.
Yes.
Umberhulk. I'm not
Large,
familiar.
large beetle creatures with alchemite embedded in their bodies.
Very sensitive to sound, and they will home in on vibrations.
Gross.
Like a deep voice rumbling through the caverns. Would that attract them?
you are especially susceptible. So just
Although-
try not to talk for the whole time.
We didn't encounter any close.
Good idea.
We only encountered them deep in the caverns. I think we are fairly safe here. But Felix is right. Just be careful.
I will be ready.
Felix, could you go remove the power source from the ship? We should bring that with us.
Isn't it like a 1 by 1 foot cube of lightning alchemite?
It's not a foot. No, this is more
Large.
like a yard.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's that big?
Yeah, it's big.
Felix,
could
Never mind.
maybe we
enlarge.
bury it.
I could enlarge, reduce it to make it a little more portable,
Or
For an hour.
for an hour.
enough to bury it.
Yeah, we should bury it.
Oh, hang on, I gotta say goodnight.
All right, cool.
This
Yeah,
is good.
is this the time where we need to take a big long break?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you guys gotta both do bedtimes. Perfect.
Yeah,
We'll grab some food.
Be
I'm gonna go make
back in
dinner.
a bit.
See you in a few.
Hey, we assumed you needed your 20-minute break right now. So we're doing the 20-minute
yeah,
break
we'll just
now.
do it now. Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back. What's up, dude? You're sitting very still. How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
Didn't see you there. Just kidding. I did. That was all a ruse.
I just reheated some fries,
Oh yeah?
rolled them around in olive oil, put a little bit of salt on them.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Convection bake in my not air fryer because I'm not a hippie. Oh my god, you should try air fryer. It's so revolutionary. It's a toaster oven. It's a toaster oven.
It's a
All it
convection
is-
oven.
It's
It's a convection oven.
It's a little.
It's
a
just
little convection oven.
it is a countertop convection oven. That's all it is.
I have a toaster oven with a convection bake setting, and it does the exact same thing.
You have an air fryer.
Bitches, man.
Damn rubes get
Rubes.
sold on anything.
Oh, revolutionary technology blows warm air over your food. Oh my god, it's a fan with a heat element. Crazy.
You funny.
I have rants like this even if no one's listening.
I know. I love it. Book is Death Ward from?
Death Ward, I think, is from
Oh.
the original from
Prevents you from
PHP,
dying.
isn't it?
It is not. It's not.
Oh.
It's not in
Is
the
there a
list.
5e Death Ward? What would that
Yeah,
be?
there's Death
Yeah.
Ward.
Because you see, in previous versions of D&D, we hadn't really figured out the whole balanced player fun thing. There were these things called instant death spells, where if you
True.
failed your save, your character died. Like that.
Wasn't it like
That's
one? Wasn't it like first edition that like poison is like if you get poisoned, you're dead. Like there's no getting away from it.
Yeah,
there
Death
were
Ward
some
is in
poison.
PHP.
You touch a creature and grant a measure of protection from death. The first time the target would drop. Oh yeah, I used to use this on Storm all the time before
Yeah,
combat.
I'm a rube. I was looking at the third level spell slots.
You
Yeah,
guys-
stop. Don't do that.
It's a 4th level spell.
Mhm.
Prevents you from
it-
dying.
After
be-
that shit, baby.
Yeah, in before 5e, there was Finger of Death, Ray of Disintegration, Wail of the Banshee, Vampiric Touch, Necrotic Touch, all of these, basically almost every Necromancer spell that does damage. It's like Fortitude save. If you fail, you die.
Let's see. I think I have my noise suppression off, so you should be able to like hear stuff, right?
I heard one snap of your fingers. Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you turn it off for a specific reason that I should be afraid of?
So you could hear me crack open a cold one.
I have had mine off for a long time because it used to make my Yeti mic sound bad. My Yeti mouse. I'm gonna turn it back on.
Yeah,
Let's see.
I don't think that I've had mine on for a long time.
Hello. Do I sound any different? Testing? No. All right. Cool. I'll keep it on.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Oh man. Speaking of Darkest Dungeon and terrifying things.
Speaking of hubris,
Speaking of you, I've been binging a lot of horror movies lately, and all of the like elements and like cool little things and story points that I have personally loved, I've been taking notes on, and I've been finding ways to like work them into my campaign. I'm very excited to DM again. I'll just say that.
Great.
please DM me any recommendations.
What?
From the horror movies you've been binging.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Direct
absolutely.
message, not Dungeon Master.
I
Oh
recently
yeah, I can
saw-
see it. Yeah.
I recently saw the newest Boogeyman film, the 2023 one, The Boogeyman. It's pretty solid. I enjoyed it. It kind of heavy-handed with some of the creature bits toward the end. It got a little crazy, but some of the early scares were just like, oh yeah, love it. One scene in particular was almost a 1-to-1 play of a night terror I used to have as a 4-year-old, and as I was
Oh,
watching it, I'm
jeez.
like, this is fantastic. I feel like I'm gonna run out of my house screaming. I love it.
Alex's D&D campaigns now with 100% more poop in your pants.
I
So,
feel
no-
like some of us are gonna have a real bad time.
Not the horror elements, but more of like the just kind of like plot points, story points. Because I've been planning to do Ashan in the future, which you guys know. Because I
Yeah.
would love to tie him to stuff you already know, and maybe have some cool other elements from previous things. But everything I came up with, I'm like, I just kind of want this to be after something bad has happened, and kind of fleshing out the bad that happened, and like how the world is kind of recovering, and where you fit into that. I think it'd be cool.
Mhm.
I'm going to say one thing, a minor spoiler. Armored trains are going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Like that Korean zombie movie.
Oh, Last Train to Busan?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of, yeah. I was thinking of like Snowpiercer.
I'll say Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer.
Have you
That's a
seen,
fun movie.
I think we talked about this recently. I would love to run like a Snowpiercer setting where everything is enclosed in one train, essentially.
That would
I've
be
actually been
fun.
I've actually been thinking a lot about it.
It won't be that,
Plotting.
but it will be. Oh, so I'm just gonna. I have to talk about it. Something bad happened to the world, and the primary way of travel, the safest way of travel, is by armored and armed trains. Because something in the world is very dangerous, and just using roads is kind of a huge gamble. So if you want to go from like this city to that city, you get on this like tank train, and you go there and hope you make it. That's yeah. Replace it's like Snowpiercer, but replace snow with just awful, and then that's gonna be it.
Nice.
Pretty much have my little. I'll call it a one shot, but it'll probably take 2-ish, maybe 3 sessions.
forward to
But that I want to do in between, and it's all Sword Coast setting because I'm very familiar with that, so it was a little easier to
Absolutely.
write a little something. But the Battle for New Waterdeep
Oh, cool.
is what it's called. So I'm excited to kind of do it. It's a little more combat heavy than we're used to, but it's not a whole campaign, so I didn't go super heavy on the RP.
Wasn't
But knowing this
Jack-
group,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead, Spencer.
Did you say new Waterdeep?
It's made up. I don't.
Waterdeep's still there.
I have the intro story written. It's like a couple pages, so it'll make sense. It's nothing too outlandish.
I'm good with
It's yeah.
There were 2 of you that wanted to run short things after Spencer before my next one. Was it Luca and Adam? Was it Jack the other one?
I don't think Jack has ever expressed interest in running one, to my
Okay.
knowledge.
I can't blame him with this bunch.
This is the best group to GM to. Holy crap!
I know. No, I'm kidding. I did mention that I would if people wanted me to. I'm really like romantically. I love like holiday theme one shots, like running a spooky one in October or running something Christmas related in
yeah.
December. I
Would love that.
have a bunch of ideas already on how like what I would want to do for different holidays. So if people would be interested, like I would happily run a Christmas one shot or something.
Yes.
Yep.
Guys just need to railroad this through December, and then you can do a Christmas themed one.
It's going to be a TPK tonight. I don't know what you're talking about.
You are
Yeah.
a bunch of 0 AC, 1 HP Krampus anti-elves, and you have to sneak into houses to steal presents. Don't die.
I'd be okay with this.
That'd be
Sounds
so
great.
fun.
Mhm.
I think it'd be super fun to just sprinkle in here and there like a holiday one-shot type thing. Even if we're in the midst of another campaign, just here and there to just kind of break it up would be. I think that'd be such a fun little diversion. Like, I don't want to do, since mine could be as long as maybe 3, I wouldn't want to do that mid-campaign. I don't want to take away from the enjoyment of and the immersion into the current one. But for a one-shot, it could be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I have greatly enjoyed this campaign. I have only experienced the world being treated like a character in one other game before, and that was Guild Wars 2, which was fantastic. But yeah, I think you did very well.
I still go back to that, like, what kind of DM are you? Like, are you a ranger type or whatever? And you said that I was a ranger type, and that was because there was lots of exploration in my world, and I took deep offense to it at the time. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate, I guess.
Nah, get a load of this guy. He's an explorer type.
Yeah, this has been fantastic.
So, Spencer, how does Baldur's Gate 3 compare to Diablo 4?
I mean, if you are Crystal, you think that they're the same game.
What? Go ahead.
Oh, man, I could go off on the conversation we had.
She listens. She listens. She listens.
I know. And she knows about it. She knows how preposterous I said that. I'm just like, no. She almost made me have a second aneurysm.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
Very different games, but amazing. Baldur's Gate is hands down better, in my opinion, but that's also because I guess I'm a ranger and I just freaking love exploring everything and seeing everything and doing everything.
Okay,
They're
so my
different games.
Well, I know Baldur's Gate is way deeper, but
Yes.
having not played it yet, on the surface, it feels to me like it's Diablo 4, but deeper and bigger and more variety and more customization. But that at its core, it's a similar type of isometric ARPG type thing.
It is not an ARPG.
Oh,
It is a very tactical role-playing game. It's Divinity, it's XCOM, it's more that style of
Turn-based.
really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yes.
Oh,
It is
Basically playing
turn-based.
D&D. Yeah.
Yeah. It is turn-based. You have actions, you have bonus actions, you have spell slots. There is percentages of being able to hit.
I mean, it's dead on D&D. I mean,
Yeah.
It's Wizards, right?
I mean,
Isn't
yes.
it Wizards? Yeah.
They aren't the ones who made it, but they are. Yes.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
Larian made it. The people who
Yeah.
do Original Sin.
Oh,
But
Divinity.
Wizards is the owner of D&D. So
yeah. Yeah.
I really hope that they do a good port to Xbox, and keeping my fingers crossed, because I so many guys at work are talking about it and saying how awesome it is. I'm just like, oh my
I
gosh.
think Original Sin 2 was a very good port.
Yeah.
They're using the same
Original
engine.
Sin 2 is
Yeah, I actually have it. I've never played it.
It's the same
It's supposed to
engine.
be awesome.
They reuse the same engine because it's fantastic.
It is Original Sin 2 turned up to like 13.
Yeah. I love the butt whining that all of these other AAA devs were doing on Twitter. Like, this standard is unrealistic, blah blah. We shouldn't expect this from games in the future, blah blah.
That
And all this
story
garbage.
was so blown out of proportion.
I saw 4 posts from 4 different devs
Yeah.
on different Twitter posts, and it's just like, what? This is exactly what we should expect. Smart use
Yeah.
of money, good use of skills, good use of time, not filled with cash up garbage. Who knows? People want to give you more money for playing a fun game. That's crazy, right?
Sorry it took so long.
I throw on
No
top of that the
problem.
fact that Sven is just an absolute beast of a man. He's just great in every way.
Who's
Sven?
Sven?
He's the owner, founder of Larian.
Ah,
He is all about the players and making sure that they make the best game that they can. Like,
They reached number 2 on Steam. They dethroned Counter-Strike for a week. That
Right?
Dang.
never happened. Ever. It's
Wait, so
been
what's number 1?
Dota. Defense
Oh.
of the Ancients.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dota.
yeah.
Yeah. It's been Dota and Counter-Strike. That's been it. Or
For
they might have
years.
reversed. One of those two, but yeah.
Yeah. But all of the Eastern Europeans stopped playing those for a couple days to play
Yep.
Baldur's Gate. And then they went back. Anyway, we're all back now. We can play.
So that's probably a good stopping point, right? Just wrap up there.
Yep.
As we set up camp for the night, because I'm pretty sure we've decided to go. Oh,
We,
well,
we traveled inward.
We're going inward to the rest of one of the offshoots.
Mhm.
And then the next day, we're going to go try and get rid of the breaker and talk to Tram.
Graham.
That's kind of our initial game plan. I love the grungy guitar. Very Dawn.
Oh, I have my sound turned down on the stream.
Yeah. I'm trying to like make it quiet. Because it'll be overpowering if it's full volume. Okay. So you guys are marching into the mine a ways. And then you are finding somewhere to set up. That's correct?
Yes.
Yeah, a couple hours or so, wherever there seems to be a good spot.
Not on the main road. I'm gonna go.
Yeah, one of the offshoots.
Yeah, looking
Tributaries.
at this map that I've got pulled up, which of these like side tunnels are you going off of? Because that'll kind of determine how long it's going to take you to get there. So like this one, that's an hour. This would be like 3.5. This would be 4-ish. This
Probably
one's 7
where
hours.
where we found the alchemite, right? Like that very first little offshoot.
This one.
If it fits Ishmael.
And-
So the closest one that fits Ishmael. That's my vote.
Ishmael also throws out the idea of maybe going in a couple hours, as opposed to just stopping at the first one.
Well,
whether
did
it's
we,
the right
did we
size or not.
bury the alchemite
Let me see that
outside,
first.
or are we going to bury it in the caves?
I think they would expect to find it in the
Outside.
caves. So we should do it
Yeah.
outside.
Should go outside.
Okay.
And the
Let's
sand
do
is
that
easy
first.
to dig.
Okay. Sure.
we
so
can
have
use
you-
we can use the little hole and pond thing that Barquand and Mondo made. That's already been dug.
the piece of alchemite is much bigger than the little like kiddie pool that they made.
Well, yeah, that's the starting.
But yeah, you can dig that out even more.
Doesn't somebody have a digging spell thing? Earth moving? Or is that an old character?
I have stone shape, but I can't remember if
Isn't it
You
your
use
one
that
week
to
thing?
get out the
used that.
alchemite.
Yep. So I don't have that for another week.
Does Rosa have glasses?
Yeah, I just noticed that.
That's adorable.
Oh, James has glasses too.
Come here. Come show your glasses.
Little kids with glasses are so cute.
Oh, that's screen time.
No. Who is that?
All right, you're cute, but D&D.
She's like, I don't want to be exploited on the internet. No.
Gotta get them likes.
Here we
Can you find
go.
a picture, Jack?
I had it and then I lost it.
Okay.
We're back a minute. Council will go along with whatever the group decides as long as it's not dumb.
I vote to kill off Conso so we can travel faster, and we'll eat his remains and
Nice.
use his skin
Either.
to
Sounds good.
seal up the sails.
I love
Oh,
it.
cute.
That's awesome.
He has glasses.
Okay,
Great.
Barnabas loves the idea, or Wander loves the idea. We're going forward with it. He was not talking about the picture of Owen.
Where did Alex go?
He stepped away for a minute, he said.
Oh,
Mhm.
Probably bio break. Or food. He was cooking food.
Yeah, might have been.
oh yeah, he was making French fries.
So I have
Good, those are French
erupting
fries.
earth, which I used in the desert a few times.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna
Awesome.
say what?
I heard.
Did your
Earth
did your
at
doctor
first.
tell you that?
Yeah.
And
I
they're
have an
talking about-
erupting girth.
No, birth is what I heard. I was just like, ugh.
Nope.
Aren't they all kind of like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so do we remove Consul's head then from his body, or do we just leave his dead body on the ground?
remove
Yeah.
his butt,
Which
and then
one?
put the mask on the butt, and then
Say-
people will think it's his face.
Save a leg for me.
Council speaks only in flatulence now.
There was an Adult Swim character named Assy McGee who
Yep.
was just a butt with 2 legs.
Oh my gosh.
That's from several years ago.
What
It
happened when
lasted
I
a couple
left?
seasons.
This is what happens when you leave. The cats get out.
In fairness, this started when he got back.
Yeah, kind of. Oh man.
Okay, so we go to. Are we cool going to the second one? If it's big enough?
Oh, you buried the Alchemite already? Cool.
Before we get too ahead of ourselves, I would need to prepare this during my meditation, but I could cast a spell to ask what outcome we are going to be doing tomorrow might be. I could be told if what we plan to do is good or bad or potentially indifferent.
Do you think she would be able to respond from capture?
I don't know.
Is that worth your power?
Could we do that while we rest inside the caverns?
It needs to be a spell I prepare after meditation,
So after you rest.
after I rest.
So is the
Actually,
Alchemite-
if we're gonna
ready?
rest anyway, I haven't changed my spells. I could cast. I already have one prepped. I was thinking of a different one. I don't know, Spencer. Could I do this? Could I cast like commune and see if I get an answer?
You have it prepped.
I have commune prepped. I was thinking of a different one. Commune works a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Should we get to a place of rest before you attempt? I feel
yes,
like
yes,
we have
yes.
ran out the sun at this point, and if we've buried the Alchemite, we should press on.
This is more of a question of if he should attempt, not
Yes,
when.
but we should make camp, and then I can try before resting.
Is there any harm if you attempt it? Any potential?
I don't believe so. No.
Then it seems a good idea to me.
Less, from what I understand of Felix, fewer, less combat power if needed.
Okay.
And we'll
So you
find a
guys
place
spend the
to-
time to dig the hole in the ground, shrink down the alchemite, stick it in the ground, bury it back up.
and making sure that when it gets big again, it's not going to pop out of the sand.
Yeah, we let I end the spell
Keep it
before we bury it, so it's not just like
Yeah. There's like a big awkward mound.
What is that brightly glowing
like
cube?
this half buried giant piece of alchemite.
Anyone who walks over it, their hair just stands on end for a little bit.
Not only that, it's the only source of light on the entire flat beach, so miles around people would see it.
There's a little awkwardly glowing sand pimple over there.
The behemoth just swallows it.
Jump, jump, jump.
Oh no.
It casts chain lightning every time it punches people.
like
That's how
Oh,
the world
boy.
ends.
breathes fire and lightning now.
I'm
All
okay
right,
with this.
we're walking.
You walk going into the cave. You are very familiar with that first hour stretch. You get back to the point where you were digging out the alchemite. You make the normal left turn that is just kind of a steady incline or decline down. You walk another 3 hours. From what you can see walking through, nothing immediately here has changed at all. I mean, there was some debris when you were walking through here before. The walls were kind of like smooth, grooved out from the mining machines previously. So it just kind of it's eerie that while you know a mere couple hours away, so much has changed. This has remained perfectly the same. So there's a little bit of like comfort to it, a little bit of like potential eeriness.
Yeah.
But you make it to that first break off to that I guess second break off to the right, where you can recall Tizal once upon a time set up a trap to potentially see if anyone was following you guys. He had like arranged some rocks.
Is all?
Yeah, Tizal.
Yeah, bro, he's smart.
Once upon a time, he did that.
I remember it. Yep.
Then you find that, and it is just the way you left it. There again, some rocks have been moved around, but no one would know.
We trip it, and Tizal just busts out through the wall.
Cast
Who's
true
there?
resurrection on himself.
Zombie Tizal.
Are you guys pulling my leg?
Beaks like. What?
That was council.
No, it wasn't.
That was 100% council. I absolutely remember
It was
that.
one of
memory.
you guys.
No, you know what it was? I think it was council. I think Tizal was leaving claw marks to indicate where we had been.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. You're right. You're right.
So he's still smart.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were playing a joke on me. I'm like, is that what they conspired when I left?
Guys, I'm gonna bring up this stupid, obscure reference to like 40 sessions ago, and you're all gonna go along with it, okay?
I was proud of that moment.
Claim the credit.
Okay, I'm back. It was Tizal.
Okay.
I've come full circle.
Got it.
Yeah, Council was useless. All he could do was fly.
Yeah, and turn into a monster and hurt us.
Yeah, what a jerk.
And have a
Okay.
bag of toilet wine with gallons and gallons of it.
Well, that part's good.
Which got turned into a Capri Sun in a mummy bag.
Oh,
I remember that.
Anyway, you guys are at that branch in the pathway. So you find if you were to go just a few up to that like little, can you see my?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
if you go up to there, if you were to cut that corner, you can't see that main pathway anymore. I feel like maybe that's the safest spot.
Can Ishmael fit without crawling on his belly?
Yeah, this cavern is much bigger than the previous one.
Okay.
So you're able to.
Shall we do watches?
Yes. We need to make sure people aren't returning for the ship.
I'm happy to do one.
I'll take second.
I can take third.
Okay. First watch. And maybe it's a perception check. Anything anyone wants to do before sleep, or?
Before going to sleep, I'm definitely going to cast Commune.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
And I guess since the group is going to be here, I'll say I can ask Daruya 3 questions with this spell. I don't know that she'll be able to answer any, but I have 1 minute. Do we want to agree on the questions before the time starts?
What kind of questions do you imagine she can answer?
Just yes or no, I believe.
Do we ask about the future? Does she have that power? Or is it more present situation?
This train of thought may cost us, our group, precious time, as we are often our own worst enemies when it comes to these matters.
We're setting up camp. It's going to take us an hour anyway. We might as well talk while we're
I think
doing
we've
it.
had pretty good luck preparing pretty loaded questions to magical things and deities.
I just meant from a time standpoint. I agree with you, Felix.
I cannot think of anything.
So, I can ask her questions, or I can prepare a different spell that will tell us the potential results of a course of action we will take. These are two
like
different things.
I like the second option.
Regardless,
Should it
I
be
will, I will need to know that she can hear me because she can commune back.
should it be something pretty small and specific? Like if we decide to liberate Tram just by jumping that breaker, if that will work out, or maybe there's like a dozen other invisible breakers we didn't think of.
That would be
Or
a
should
good
it be
question.
something grander, like if we try to overthrow
My thought
Aetherwolf?
was something grander, like will we die tomorrow?
I feel like if we make it,
Well,
the larger it gets, the more.
if the gods can see that much of the future, that means that there isn't any purpose in us doing anything because our fates are sealed.
Well, that
So
would
I think
be
the
a
more
deep
specific,
conversation.
I think more specific is going to help us.
I don't believe that Horan has predetermined my fate, so even if you were to ask such a question and receive an answer, I'm not confident in the response we receive.
Do you know what kind of responses you will receive? Is it just a yes or no?
Yes,
Or
yes. For tonight, it'd be a yes or a no.
can we free Tram undetected? Or maybe can we kill Aetherwolf
Okay.
and survive the encounter? I don't know.
Okay. I have an idea.
Will the Dwarn aid us against the Breakers, if given the opportunity?
I like that one.
Or will Aetherwolf, will the Magister share our secrets with the Dwarn or the Breakers?
I
If
say
the
we
answer
have,
to that question was no, would we still need to proceed within the caverns towards Touchstone?
We may need the Magister, well, utility aside, we may need the Magister to remove the attachment of any further artifacts we find.
yes.
Because at some point, we will need to get the staff. At some point, we absolutely need to go get that staff. And when we do,
So the three questions I want to ask. Number one, Naruya, can you speak to me? Because I don't. If she's captured, I don't know that I will get any response. So number one, Naruya, can you respond? Number two, can we kill Aetherwolf and survive? Number three, will the Dwarn in Touchstone help us overthrow Aetherwolf?
Why do you need to ask that first question? If you ask the others and don't receive a response, that is an answer to the first question. And if she does respond, there is also your answer.
I mean, Spencer, would I know that I will always get a response?
I don't know if I necessarily understand the question.
Have you ever cast the spell before in character?
yeah,
No.
that's the question.
God, no.
It's a spell, and you are spending the spell slot for it, so it works.
But so if I use the spell
Mhm.
and get no answer on can we kill Aetherwolf and survive, is that because would Marquand think it's because she cannot respond or because she does not have a response?
I cannot answer how Barquan would interpret that.
Yeah, that's a character thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would feel more comfortable if I asked if she could respond.
It's your power.
It is your spell.
Okay. Alright, he's gonna cast Commune, 5th level. And
Okay.
the first thing he will ask is Naruya.
Before you ask any questions, I would like you to roll a d20 for me.
Oh, that's not part of it, is it? I don't know. I don't
This
know
is
my
the
spells.
psychic backlash damage.
Oh,
Hearing her
Jesus.
scream in your head.
This is how many levels you lose.
Oh boy.
Buckhorn turns into an infant.
Do I add
Permanent
anything?
HP loss.
No, you don't add anything.
18.
18? Okay. You
Ask Naruya, can you hear me and can you respond?
in establishing a connection with Naruya, you immediately you feel and hear some kind of interference, and then you just hear a woman screaming in agony. And it just continues.
That tracks. Jeez.
When you do this spell, do you say the words out loud? Like, if we're watching you, do we hear you ask them, or is it like within your mind?
It'd be within the mind. The
Okay.
verbal component to cast the spell, but I wouldn't have to speak the words.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, I would relay that to the group. It's incredibly somberly.
I'm sorry, Bakwan, that she suffers.
Ishmael lays a hand on your shoulder and just gives you a nod.
I'm sure she is sorry that we all suffer.
Well, she may be free if we have anything to say about it. A silver lining is it does show that we weren't deceiving you.
Yes, this was not from a place of not trusting.
I
Merely,
understand. But it's the difference between believing something and knowing something.
you're very wise, counsel. He starts pack up for the night.
Okay. All right. First watch then. Or, sorry, counsel.
Nah, I said oof. Like that's rough. Oh jeez.
Cheryl?
Yeah, first watch, Ishmael.
23.
Jeez.
23.
It's 2 of those tonight.
So your watch starts. You guys walked for another 3 hours, set up camp for an hour. Your watch is starting around midnight. For the first couple hours of your watch, all you can hear is the occasional rhythmic dripping of water within the caves. It's just kind of echoing around. But that is very faint. It's not like there's any water dripping directly near you. And other than that, it is very quiet. It is a lot of time alone with your thoughts.
Okay. I wake, I forget who said, was Consul second? Yeah, okay. So you raise your hand? Yeah. So I wake Consul after several hours and go to sleep myself.
Okay. Council.
Council is going to quickly inspect his eye alchemite with something shiny, probably with his scimitar. Just to see if it's glowing or if there's anything going on with it.
Oh, okay. Just to like see if it's changed at all.
Yeah.
Okay. No, looking at it, especially in a low light setting, it looks the same.
Yep. He's going to take out his journal. Everyone relax. And he's going to reread the note of his grandfather. And he's going. There are some empty pages, right? Like there's a section of it that wasn't filled in, if I remember correctly.
So the journal, goes to a point, and then there are a lot of blank pages, or there not a lot, but there are some blank pages, and then the final page has been torn out, and that is what you found that was sealed within that last portion.
Starting from going to the first blank page after the last entry, he's going to start basically writing everything that's happened since he left the Elm City.
He's going to start writing in there?
Yep.
Okay.
he's going to basically chronicle. This kind of came from because Tizol died, and he knows Tizol's story is a big deal. And Council as an Aeon is like, well, stories don't really make sense because they're not, neutral recordings of fact. But now that he's kind of, he's gone through a lot, he's going to say, he thinks people should know about what the group has done. So he's going to talk about leaving the pillars, meeting the group, Revan and Felix and all them. He's going to do this every night for the rest of, the campaign. So while doing watch.
Okay.
I rolled a 15.
For your
15.
perception?
Yeah.
And do you have any kind of fire lit or anything that you're seeing with? Otherwise, I think you're rolling with disadvantage in the darkness.
True. I'll light a torch. I have 6 left and a tinderbox.
Okay.
I'll kind of do it in the corner.
Sure. Yeah, you try to make it as hidden as possible while still providing yourself some light. Sure. You roll a 15.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar to what Ishmael had, where you occasionally hear that sound of dripping. But other than that, it is very quiet. You are able to keep your mind open to the outside perception while you are chronicling your travels.
Cool.
Without issue.
Excellent. I wake up Bakwan.
Sorry, I mean, got a little wispy knowing that Tizol impacted Council in any way, shape, or form.
Council had like a Grinch moment. His heart went from a raisin to like a really old grape.
It's a grape that you dropped on the floor, rolled underneath the fridge, and you forgot about.
Yeah, but only like a few days, so it's kind of brown and squishy, but it's not quite there yet. Yeah.
Gross. Thanks for pulling me back. What do I roll?
Perception.
Perception. What's my bonus? New person.
New person.
15?
Person.
15?
Yum.
15?
10 plus 5, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same as Ishmael and Council. It's a very quiet, very lonely evening. Well, early morning. You feel as the time when you would normally wake up comes around, there is no indication, and to you that is very normal, being down in the depths. So you just kind of get to a point where you're like, oh, yeah, this is right around the time when everyone should be waking up, and so just kind of like rouse everyone.
Yeah, the whole night he'd be like meditating, like obviously keeping watch, but also like trying to commune again without casting the spell, obviously, like for flavor. Like he would like be trying to communicate and figure out what's going on. Like obviously he knows that she's stuck, but I guess this is a question for you because I'm new to playing a divination character. But like one of the spells that I could take says something about an otherworldly entity that he tries to communicate with. Like, is that always his god? Could it be someone else? I think that's probably what he's thinking of and trying to figure out.
Okay. Which one is it?
Augury?
Oh, yeah.
You know the one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Second level. It says you try to contact an otherworldly entity, but it doesn't necessarily say you're the person that gives you your power, like your god.
Yeah. I think that is potentially open for interpretation.
Okay.
You receive an omen from an otherworldly entity.
Yeah, so when I was talking earlier about he could prepare something that might give a clue to the outcome, omens.
You accidentally tap into noon and Bhagwan just starts on fire. Is anyone out there? Boof.
It does say that you use some kind of implement. It's not like you're asking a question and receiving a yes or no. It's like you're like rolling dice or you're revealing tarot cards or something to be able to reading tea leaves, whatever.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's fair. I would say he'll probably need a component or something to do that, which he doesn't have on him.
I mean, you can say that you have a component. That's fine.
You can set up some rocks, or do something with your rope.
I have my polished rock.
Yeah,
you have a whole bunch of rocks. Is the alarm that Tizol made?
It's true. because of his big brain.
Yeah, his big
So
bird brain.
smart. So smart. That's his. Okay, cool. No, that's good to know. Yeah, I would wake the group up. And it's time.
Yeah. Wander and Ishmael, you are awake underneath the earth in these stupid dark caves. Not your favorite place in the world, but you're alive. Felix, you're used to it. Council, you're more level-headed and you didn't suffer as poorly the last time you were down here. So you are what you are.
It's unpleasant but necessary.
Yeah, accurate.
Are we
Right.
ready then?
So we need to assume that both of the Breaker and Tram can see through invisibility. So if we are going to try and approach stealthily in a perfectly polished tunnel with no cover, it's going to have to be through size or manipulation of light.
And then once we did approach, what would the strategy be? To simply take the breaker out in short order?
As quickly as possible, and hopefully before he can verbally contact other breakers using their remote speaking alchemite that Kaz came up with.
Does anyone have a way?
Is there an anti-magic field any of you have, or a remote sleep spell? Because we could rush them, and I don't doubt we would win, but the trick is not alerting the rest of Touchstone to our presence.
Ishmael draws his massive sword and says, I have this.
And that would help us win, but again, we don't want to alert Touchstone to our presence.
I cast silence as he chucks the giant sword at somebody.
You could probably throw it like 30 feet pretty well.
Oh, easily.
I'm not saying we shouldn't do this, but we do need some way of silencing the breaker. Or getting a message to Tram discreetly so he can try to do something without help as well. Also, we do know that Wanda can transform into very small, natural-looking things, but there is a finite amount of those in a day.
That is true. And while we're on the topic, question for you, Felix. Down here in Touchstone, which would be the least noticeable? A bat? A cat? A spider?
Do I have the answer to that? Like maybe even like a bug? Are there
Yeah.
like little cave beetles or something? Spiders?
Yeah, a spider would certainly not be out of place here. Also, bats would be pretty common, especially near the surface of the top of the cavern.
Yeah. And also a rat. I don't know how averse to rats dwarves are. I'm not commenting on how many I saw the first time through.
Are there any small creatures like that wouldn't even like get a reaction from most Dwarn? Like a big spider, people would probably react to. Even a bat or a rat, people would react to because rats are more vermin. Is there just like, I don't know, like just a harmless sort of bug that isn't creepy or anything?
The cave equivalent of a ladybug?
Yeah.
What of those creatures you mentioned that you encountered the last time you were here? The bugs.
That would alarm them.
Those are about your size, Ishmael.
I don't think you can. Those the artificer doesn't know the difference between a beast and a monstrosity, but you get it.
Just being as sneaky as I can as an Umber Hulk walking down the cave hallway.
Busting through the ground and trucking him off the ledge.
Wanda, how many times can you transform in a day?
I can do that 2 times in a day, each for 2 hours.
Okay. it would be easy for you to become something small, get close to Tram, or the Breaker. Either you can't speak while you're transformed, can you?
No.
So you'd have to either carry a message or get big again and then jump the Breaker. This is a challenge. If there were some way to get close. Wait. Isn't there a spell?
One thing I could do, I have a spell where I can create water and encase someone within watery sphere, which may work and may not work. But the trick would be, you're correct, to incapacitate in short order. And I don't really know if I'd have anything to be guaranteed to take him out.
If you
Go ahead.
we do have a way to communicate. We have these two pieces of alchemite.
Ah.
If you could somehow carry it to Tram without the Breaker noticing.
And then perhaps... we could... I wonder if Tram was with the Breaker all day. We saw him there last night. Is he there this morning? Has his shift started?
It's true. He's not there all the time. That's a good point.
You,
I checked the mirror.
we
and,
have the means.
and I'm
to know.
basically just going to have him on the mirror for
Okay.
now. As long as it'll let me keep looking at him.
Yeah. Tram is still there.
In the same guard tower or same station?
Yeah, he's at that same like mouth opening into the big cavern.
Is it just him? Yeah.
He's with the Breaker.
Okay.
He is. Oh, shoot.
I think getting that communicating alchemite to him may be our best bet.
I certainly couldn't carry the alchemite as a spider.
It would have to be a rat or a bat.
Doesn't all your gear
keep your belongings?
Yeah. Doesn't all your gear shrink with you? If you put it into your pack.
Well, we need to give it to Tram, and he won't be able to do that if he's a spider.
We can follow him when he leaves, change shape, give it to him, shrink back, and come back to us.
You're thinking of when Tram leaves his post.
Waiting for the day until this evening.
I'm doing it now. As one who ever pushes us for expediency, I'm surprised that you took the option to wait.
But if we gave it to him now,
his post ends.
Gotta end sometime.
His post could end in 5 minutes. It may end in 5 hours. We don't know.
Unless they killed him and made him undead, then he doesn't need to sleep.
And if we gave it to him now and we started talking to him, the Breaker would hear. So we'd have to wait till he left his post either way.
I agree.
Well, it does. Is the sound? It does reverberate off of the alchemite.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It's like a Bluetooth speaker.
Got it. All right, so that option isn't quite the way to go.
Instead of trying to get Tram immediately, we could have Wander go and do some reconnaissance on the city itself while we wait around for Tram to be done with his shift, and then go find him in the evening. Because I think getting a pulse on the city as a whole would also be useful. Even just observing it, seeing what sort of how present the Breaker's forces are. We'd get all this information from Tram, but maybe he might see something different, especially from a bat's perspective.
We're also assuming Tran hasn't been compromised.
It's true. It's putting a lot on one person. Whereas we don't necessarily need him.
Reconnaissance of the city, I think, is a much more pragmatic approach to understanding what's happening and potentially gaining information by listening in on conversations.
Do the majority of the Dorn want Aetherwolf in power? If we had to guess.
I would be very surprised if the answer was yes.
So, is there a possibility we could incite a revolt?
You would have to give them a good reason to do it outside of why they haven't done it already. And I don't know if just saying that we are here is going to be enough. They don't know
Could
that.
we strong arm the breakers?
We could. They don't know that. And they have no reason to trust us.
What I mean is, could the 5 of us overtake the breakers?
All of them at one time? No.
Storm, touchstone.
We don't
They're
know if we storm Touchstone, some of the Dawn may resist, and we don't want to kill Dawn that aren't breakers. I think
we need to-
reconnaissance may be the best way to go, because right
Yes.
now, all of these questions are pointing to the fact that we don't have information.
Correct.
And a bat flying above Touchstone isn't. Felix knows that's not really something you'd be like, oh, why is there a bat up there?
No, yeah,
You know, like-
no one would care.
I think a bat would be your best bet.
All right.
See what you can discover.
Do my best. At this, and out of character, at this point, we're a ways away.
Yeah,
We need to
Ah,
we travel closer.
Do we want to travel? How close do we want to get?
I think there was that last right turn into the cavern on our way where we met Jurgen. That might be close enough. That's about.
So that was right here.
Yeah.
Where you first met Jurgen and Sledge.
Yep.
So that would still be about an hour to get to the opening. So basically, you could fly there, be able to like loop around for a little bit, and make it back without.
I just double checked. I could do it 2 times a day for 4 hours. At this
Oh,
level. So,
yeah. If you were there, you would be able to do it just fine.
Okay.
Make it there,
Yeah.
you would still have 2 hours to fly around and be able to get back before you had to move back.
Each time is 4 hours. Is that what you're saying, Barnabas?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Do you do it like Laszlo and What We Do in the Shadows, and when you transform into a bat, you go bat?
Bat! I'm watching the new season right now. It's so good.
I haven't seen it yet. I'm excited.
Oh, Luca.
What have you
Drop.
done?
Drop the work computer.
oh no.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I thought something bad happened. All right, so we travel onward to that first or last bend, rather,
I'm ready to go.
and maybe just duck off the main path, or assuming we get there without issue.
Council sprints whole way.
All right.
Just Terminator runs.
Yeah, it's so from where you are to there, it's about 4 hours. So you're getting there around noon. But it is, again, very similar to what you experienced before. When you do get to that intersection, you notice that the body of the giant bug, it has been like flattened from mining rigs rolling over it. So you can see like part of it is perfectly fine and other parts of it are just absolutely smeared across the stone. They didn't bother to move it at all. Just completely crunched underneath.
Smoosh.
But other than that, it is just like the last time you were here.
Okay.
You guys want to camp out there while Wander flies around?
I'm going to take a single strand of my rope, about 6 to 8 inches long.
Okay.
I'm going to take a small piece of paper from my photographer's tools, and after Wanda transforms, Council's gonna write the word. Felix, if you could think of a single word that may inspire someone in a struggling situation that to embrace change that may be coming soon, what would you write? There may be an off chance that Wanda is caught or stuck, or someone finds him. I'm making a long shot of potentially inspiring some hope or action from a random citizen that finds a bat with a message around its neck.
Right. Resist on it.
Okay. Council writes resist. And then he rolls it up to a tube, puts the threads through, and ties it around little bat Wanda's neck.
Okay. This is great. Wander takes off.
Random. Oh no, the bat has asthma. It's just wheezing through the caverns like hitting the walls.
Just sucking wind the whole way. Yeah, you watch Wander's little form fly off down the cavern with the message in tow. Wander, are you being stealthy while you're doing this? Or are you just flying like a bat?
I am, I'm just flying like a bat, just trying to be normal bat.
Squeak.
Sorry. So you fly for the first hour, and you get to that opening where it opens up into the big cavern, and there you see Tram and this other figure. They are standing watch as you had seen them in the mirror previously.
When I get close, I kind of somewhat unobtrusively kind of go to a perch nearby and just kind of watch them for a little bit to get a vibe and listen.
Oh, okay. Cool. Make me both a perception and an insight check.
Okay.
Do bats have any kind of advantage with their crazy hearing?
Yep, on perception checks.
Oh, sweet.
That is
87.
20, a dirty 20 on the perception. And what was the other one?
Insight.
Okay.
Interesting.
Because if you're trying to pick up on a vibe between
Yeah,
people.
that's true. And let's see, the charisma on the bat is -3, so that 3 minus 3, 0, I guess. I
think the lowest you can roll is 1.
Okay, 1.
Okay. So it is difficult for you to pick up on any kind of vibe, mostly because while you are sitting there and listening, there are not words exchanged. While you're sitting there and you're listening very intently, and you can hear everything that they're doing. I mean, anytime the breaker moves, you can hear like his armor kind of creaking and groaning. You can hear like any like shuffle of their feet, like moving rocks around. So it's not like there's silence cast around them or anything, but there's just no communication happening between the two. They are merely standing there.
Okay. Yeah, I move along and scope out the city. I kind of just fly up to the edge of the city, and I fly over a little bit and try and get a higher level view just to see if I notice any general patterns, and then fly in and work my way towards the throne room where Aetherwolf is.
Okay.
But keeping an eye on things as I go.
Okay. Sure. So as you fly into the open cavern, you can immediately see just the rubble and debris from some fighting that has happened here. Looking at the far side of the cavern from where you enter, you can see where that bridge previously was. That bridge is no longer.
Oh,
Something
it's so
like that.
cool. You did such a good job.
Wow.
And you kind of just circle the city. You said you were flying towards the throne room. Anything specifically you're looking for, or just kind of picking up what information you can?
Yeah, I'm observing patterns where people are, observing like anything that looks like an explosion, like stone, that having been disturbed. Yeah, and noticing the movement of any people I see as well.
Okay. Just make me perception check again.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Flying around?
update that drawing to remove the other bridges, or were those
did.
always gone? Oh, okay. That's
I
pretty
removed.
s-
I removed the one bridge that was there.
or the one. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I did the same with this map.
Oh, yeah. I guess I didn't
Yeah.
pick up on that.
Small
Yeah.
things.
Man, we get custom art for our campaign.
This is awesome.
Yeah, your
17.
campaign had better be freaking awesome, Alex.
Uh,
You rolled a 7 for a perception check?
17.
17. Okay, I was like, what the crap? I have advantage. Flying around over the city. I'll go actually back to this map. And then I'll make sure you can see my mouse.
Mhm.
So flying in, you start here, and you kind of circle this way. You see that the bridge is out. Circling over the platform, you can see down below, like down at the very bottom of the pillar, that is where the most of the debris and just trash is. You can't tell if there are bodies down there, but you see that there are lots of things that are down there. And of course, underneath where this bridge was, there is a considerable amount of rubble. Circling back around the city, you see this like main area where you came up in the middle of Touchstone. After kind of circling your way up and in, what used to be a very like New York Times Square, like very busy coming up out of the underground, it is barren. There is not a moving thing in sight. You can see that at the top of that stairway where you originally came out, there are barricades that have been pushed to the side. You can see a single body in all of Touchstone, and that body belongs to Kaz. And it is lying in between that stairwell and the entrance to the throne room.
Jeez.
Listening in, you don't even hear a sound. It is just eerie, dead, silent.
Be right back.
I swoop in.
Okay.
And very cautiously approach, and now I am trying to be stealthy. I very cautiously approach a house to see if there's anyone, if people are like inside their houses scared.
Okay. Any house in particular that you're looking for, or is it just picking a random house?
Just a random house.
Okay. Go ahead and make me a stealth check for trying to be stealthy.
Not stealthy. 5 for stealth.
Okay. You just kind of flap down into that open area and you fly over on this northern pillar. Let's see, did I do that right? Yeah. Can you see northern pillar? Yep. On the inside of it, you can see that there are a number of those like domiciles that have been carved into the pillar. Looking inside one, you can see that there are people in there, but they are being very hushed, very quiet. Their body language just gives off that they're trying to be as quiet as possible. Intentionally so. So you can see that there are in fact people in Touchstone, but it is no one is leaving their homes. No one's out doing stuff.
Okay. Yeah, and so listening from where I am, I can hear just a little bit of mumbling, but can I make anything out?
Give me a perception check.
Okay. 14.
14. From the little bit you hear, the first thing that actually catches your ear is the sound of like a child's voice, being a little louder than everyone else because children don't know how to be quiet. And asking a parent about, can I go out and play? Can I go see my friends? Can I do whatever? And a parent kind of like hushing them, trying to make them be quiet, telling them not that we can't do that right now. You can't really go outside. It's after curfew. Telling them to stay in. And kind of the grumble from the child. And then just sounds of like dishes and general like busy work around the house.
Okay. I make my way over to the throne room then.
Okay. So you pick back up and fly across back over to the throne room. Are you being stealthy this time or just batting again?
Yeah.
I don't want to get ballisted.
That's a 10.
Okay. Cool. Fly your way over to the throne room.
Or no, 15 rather. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, and so so the throne room, is it completely closed? Like, are there doors closed? Or?
No, the throne room is actually wide open.
Oh, okay.
There are doors, but they are opened.
Okay. And is the throne room enclosed on the top as well?
So it is carved into this massive stone pillar that is on top of the bigger pillar.
Yep.
So
yeah, there is a roof to it, but it's pretty high, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, so I fly into the throne room, kind of keeping close to the roof part and just kind of try and get an eye on what's happening. Also, I'm looking around to see if there are any other bats hanging around there, to see if this is like a... If I could like if this is a bat hangout, or if I just want to kind of like fly in real quick and then flit out like, ooh, I'm a bat. I got lost. I'm dumb. Do.
Okay.
If you say that though, they'll know you're not a bat, so don't say it.
Right. Okay.
You cross the threshold into the throne room, and
No.
immediately you pop back into a big tree, and you sprawl across the floor.
The anti-magic
and just
field.
slide in, and immediately there are 12 or more breakers that are standing next to pillars in here that all immediately turn and look at you. And a couple rush over immediately and like have weapons drawn and are like telling you to stay down, or what are you doing here? Just there's a whole cacophony of voices yelling at you at once. This is so juicy. I love it. Thank you for making this choice.
That. We knew that was there too.
We did.
It was there last time. Well, Ishmael didn't know, but you guys all knew.
Well, we didn't think it was gonna fly into
Arquan
the
didn't
throne
know.
room.
Just keep squawking like a bat.
Squeak. I could just see a giant tree. Squeak. Squeak.
I'm trying so hard not to table talk right now. I believe in you, Barnabas. You got this.
What's your new character going to be?
With each step that the guards take, I make a wood squeaking sound to try and tunnel my way into their minds.
They inspect the steps.
Yeah, none of them are falling for it. They are very intent.
But Wander makes some panicky noises, which sound like singing that didn't go well.
Okay. So are you staying on the ground as they're telling you to?
So how fast? I guess how fast did they approach? How far into the throne room am I, and how fast did they approach me? Is there any prayer that I could like sprint my way back out?
No.
Okay.
So there are two that are posted at the door. So as soon as you crossed in and you sprawled out, there were people behind you that were there to block your exit. And then at every pillar inside, there was another that was posted. So like I think there's like 12 now that are just around you. And they are shouting commands at you to stay put.
I stay put.
Okay.
And are these guards? Are they all in power armor, or are they?
About half.
Okay. Yeah, I stay put. I stay
Okay.
put.
Okay. While you're down there, face on the ground, just kind of making sure that nobody's stabbing you with anything. One of the voices speaks up amongst the guards and says, and just kind of quiets everybody else down. It says, "Who are you? Speak your name."
Traveling salesman?
You get a swift kick upside what would be your head. So you take 4 points of bludgeoning damage just from a heavy metallic boot. And repeats, "No games. What is your name?"
I am but a humble torn wander.
And you don't hear anything for a second. And then that voice says, "Get him up." And a handful of the Dorn that are around you stand you up against your will, essentially. Like take you full standing. And now you can see in the throne room there are these Dwarn that are around you, again, like half or so in the power armor, half not. At the far end of the throne room, it's at the very back of the throne room, you can see that there is a shape that is sitting on the throne. And you can see next to that shape the Magister. And the voice from the door that's in front of you says, "Bring him." And the Dwarn kind of are pushing you now up towards the throne. Are you complying? Are you fighting back?
At this point, yeah, I comply.
Okay. They bring you all the way up to the front of the throne room, essentially maybe 7 feet from the first step up to the throne. At which point you get a heavy hit in the back of the knees and you're dropped to your knees. And there are 2 or 3 Dwarn guards on either side of you that are just holding you in place. And this Dwarn that's sitting on the throne, you can see now as you get closer, he is just spinning a gun around his hand. And as you, like, the thunk of your knees hits the pavers that you're on top of, he stands up. And he walks very calmly, but in control of this situation, down to where you are. And he looks at you, and when you're on your knees, you're looking dead in his eyes. And you can see this figure. He has heavy scarring across his face. You can see that he has an eye patch over one eye, or he's got like a bandana essentially like tied over half of his face, so it's covering one eye. And he has just long, greasy, not maintained hair in any way, very rat's nest. Same thing. Imagine like Luca peak COVID beard. hanging down. It's not bushy in any way. It's just like straight, scraggly down.
So handsome.
Very greasy, very Italian. That part's not true. I'm sorry, Luke.
You both had some righteous.
We had amazing beards.
Yeah.
I love looking back at it. But he just looks you dead in the eye. And he says, "What's your name?"
I am but a
And-
humble.
You find yourself not being able to lie to him.
Of course. That's what happened last time, too.
Let me look up the exact spell.
Is that Circle of Truth or something?
Yeah. If you would like to, you can make a charisma saving throw.
He can resist, right?
Yeah. You can make a charisma saving throw.
But I think the
Okay.
caster knows if you're
He
not telling
knows
the
he will
truth.
know that you succeeded, so you can lie.
But he'll know that I lied, even if I lie.
No. No, will he?
Mm-hmm.
He will know that you succeeded the check, I thought. I don't think he'll know that you're lying if you succeed the check. You are just free to lie, and he'll know that you succeeded. I believe is how it works.
Oh,
So, no, on a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in the radius. You know whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. So you cannot lie while
If you
are
fail.
around it. Yeah, if you fail the
If you
charisma
fail.
saving throw.
Okay.
And he knows whether or not you failed or succeeded on your saving throw.
Okay.
roll high.
Yeah. At this one, I won't even try on this one. I am but a humble torn wander maple.
He just kind of stares at you more. And then he looks over his shoulder back at the Magister. And then he looks back at you. And his one good eye narrows. He says, "Where's Felix?"
So good.
Let's see. That's a 17.
You do not pass.
Okay.
Wow. Holy crap.
So you don't
have to answer.
you can't speak a lie, but you can just remain silent.
You can also speak around it.
Somewhere, I don't know.
He's coming for you.
Oh, that's not a lie.
You see
That was good.
the side. You can't even see his upper lip. You just see his bottom lip sticking out because his beard or his mustache just sticks down over his upper lip. You see the corners of that bottom lip curl up into a smile. And then you see his teeth kind of get bared. You can see that he's got a number of teeth missing, some of which have been replaced by like various gemstones and stuff. But he just smiles. And he says, "Let him go." And all the guards take a step back from you. And he pulls up the gun and points it point blank at you. And says, "You bring him to me."
You would like me to bring Felix to you.
He puts the gun up in the air and he fires off a round and he points it back at you. And he says, "I will not repeat myself."
Am I free to go?
He just stares, doesn't say a word.
Wander turns around and starts walking away.
You turn around, walk out of the throne room, and every eye in the room you can see is on you. Every Dwarven that you walk past, they are all just watching you. And you can see that some of the others have various weapons, or they have like there's the couple that you had seen in the temple previously that have like the flaming implements. And they're all just trained on you, watching you leave. And they let you walk out.
All right. As soon as I'm out of the throne room, I turn into a bat again and scoot on out of there.
You turn into a bat and you scoot on out of there.
Amazing.
Is there any chance we heard the gunshot?
From where you are,
No.
no.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, an hour walk down the tunnel, I suppose.
Yeah, you are several miles away from this.
Yeah.
And even though it's a large chamber, rocky chamber, most of the sound would just bounce around inside that area. And at that point, it is 9:02. I think that's probably a good stopping spot.
Whew.
Man.
Oh,
This is-
so now we're back to the point of we're either storming them with the full knowledge of us coming, or we're leaving.
This is actually really good for us. To be honest, this is like best outcome.
You think so? Now they know we're
Absolutely.
coming?
Well,
The spiciest outcome.
this
Yeah.
There's nothing that I like better than spicy outcomes.
This is from my like armchair creator profile of Aetherwolf. Like Aetherwolf has huge amounts of ego and hubris, and he only wants one thing. We can play to that so hard. That's fantastic.
We could just
We are-
ditch
we are-
Felix and get
we
out of
are-
there with the Magister. And
No,
We are hog tying Felix and bringing him to his feet.
Oh no, I have you play.
I just want to keep playing for another like 4 hours so bad.
Yeah.
As someone with a massive ego and a fat head that had to conquer their own problems, you challenge Aetherwolf one-on-one. Like Felix demeans him publicly, challenges him to rulership of the Breakers publicly, maybe like a duel or something.
This is exactly what Felix
This is
going to suggest.
best outcome. Council's gonna be like, yeah, we have to.
That-
This is the only way to go.
Depending on the information that Barnabas brought back, he was
Yeah.
maybe going to suggest that, and now he probably is.
I'm still, all I could see is Wander. In my mind, he was spinning. He was just like, just what?
Yep.
Spinning on the floor of the throne room,
It's like,
sliding.
Full
to-
splayed out. Yeah.
what is your name? Squeak?
Squeaker, squeaking, squeaker, squeak, squeak.
it'll be interesting if we go
yeah.
to the throne room, because some of our party is going to be a whole lot less useful. Oh, bye, Spencer.
I didn't mean to do that. I just meant to stop my stream.
If it blocks all magic, we've got some magic-based party members, and we've got some melee-based party members, so it'll be interesting.
You don't know my
figure that
life.
out. We may not have to fight at all. It might just be Felix.
Just leave Felix and go. Cool.
No,
Peace out.
we stand there and watch while he duels Aetherwolf for leadership. Something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
I figured it wasn't gonna happen, but it did cross my mind of, is Spencer just gonna have him shoot Wander right in the head, or throw him off the edge of the cliff, or is just
Yeah,
like,
that was-
you forgot, there's no magic,
It was-
you're freaking dead, done.
Yeah. Lost my mind.
I
There-
was
there
just
were-
go ahead.
There were a couple of ominous. Spencer went. So, Aetherwolf.
You
I
buzzed
got
your head
my
off.
secret checks to roll.
Because I know you're not a ruthless DM, but I feel like it would have been kind of okay had you
It would've
just
been
killed
fair.
Wander at that point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have felt really bad in character and out of character.
Yeah.
But
The next
There was-
session, you guys come across a Dwarn who just wants to join your cause now. Magically. Amazing.
there's just a nice little campfire in the throne room.
Oh.
That actually went through my mind. I was like, if I had to play a different character, I would love to play a Feral Torn. And I was trying to figure, how is Spencer gonna have a Feral Torn just show up in Touchstone? That's gonna be rough.
Little mole guy gets lost.
I think
there's
Maybe he's in a
tons
cage.
of ways.
There's a prison. Yeah.
Yeah.
He could have just been, a humble merchant peddling wares at the wrong time.
An actual bat merchant.
I was gonna say that.
Next session is going to be spicy.
When are we playing again?
Next
This
week,
Thursday
right?
possible?
I'm free
Yeah.
every Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's this
Saturday,
way. Yeah,
Thursday?
every Thursday that we can. I'm just setting aside Thursdays. Cadence be darned. Whenever we can make it, I'm good with it.
I can do Thursday next week.
I think I can do Thursday next week. Looking to Crystal for confirmation.
Sorry, somebody's buying a backpack. What?
Next Thursday? Do we have anything? I don't see anything.
Yes, we do.
We do? Oh, never mind. I can next Thursday.
2 weeks from now.
All right. Yeah. 2 weeks from now.
The 21st.
Sounds good.
What about Tuesday?
Plenty of time for Felix to prepare his one-on-one combat.
I don't think I have anything Tuesday. If you wanted to try it.
I
I
can't
think
do
I can do.
Tuesdays.
No Tuesdays.
Okay,
That's
cool. All right,
Yeah.
let's plan on 2 Thursdays from now.
We always try this. We're like,
Yes.
what about this day? No.
What about any other day? No, we're adults. We have schedules. It's a miracle that we're able to play D&D regularly.
No, I'm a
That
man
was
child in
awesome.
a 30-year-old body. I'm not.
I can't play the 21st. I'm taking the kids to go see the off-Broadway traveling production of Beetlejuice at the Orpheum, which I'm pumped to go see.
Can you
gonna be
reschedule the production?
Awesome.
That's
No, we'll all actually be there too, and
You should, because it's supposed to be an incredible production.
I'll bring
It's a
my notes.
musical.
I've heard the soundtrack.
Yeah.
The music.
It's good. Kyle loves the soundtrack. She listens to it a lot.
Everyone bring your dice, and we'll play at the Orpheum.
Yeah, we're playing the seats.
What?
On the 14th.
That's next week.
Yeah, I know. He just has to be there at 4:15.
What is that? That's not still happening, is it? Or is
It's
that?
a different thing.
It's a new thing.
It's a new. She has to be there at 4:15. You guys don't start till like 5:30 anyway.
yeah, we can start at 6.
Okay.
We've done that before.
All right. Plan on next week then.
We had to do it tonight because of me.
Okay.
That was
Cool.
Next week. I'm
Next week?
available in person if it works.
Pending
I
on
know there were
Jeremy's.
Yeah, there were
If
concerns.
you're running
so-
errands and trying to make it back, yeah,
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay. Never mind.
another time.
Yeah.
All right.
Next
I'll
Good
just,
night,
I'll
y'all.
just touch
Thank
each
you.
of you through my screen real quick. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for DMing.
Thanks for
Bye.
playing.